Good day, viewers, friends, and foes. You like my cover picture? That was taken a couple years ago. Pacific likes to do things out of the box. Why? Because I can. I like to be sexy. I know that sounds weird, and people would say, well, gee, your definition of sexy isn't. You're entitled to an opinion. Opinions are like butts, everybody has one, and most of them smell. But no, I'm not transgender. I'm not homosexual. I'm attracted to women. Sometimes I've seen a man with a nice chest, and especially you're androgynous, and thought, wow. But men cannot give me what a woman can. And in today's society, that's changed too, especially in Western cultures. Can a woman give us men anything of value today? That's questionable. There's many YouTube artists saying that Western women are non-dateable today, and there's a lot of truth to that. So I go to work, I live alone, work on my place, take friends, mostly ladies, out to breakfast and lunch, and I talk to people. Sometimes I shoot pool at a club, and we have older, we have younger, we have black, we have white, we have Asian, we have Hispanic, we have Puerto Rican. There's an Asian guy that's top notch on pool. He's almost unbeatable by most of us. We have transgender that walk in and out. We have gay, we have lesbian blacks and lesbian whites, and a lesbian black and an Asian woman, pretty Asian woman and a big black girl. You see some weird combinations of somebody who, in my estimation, is not attractive with a very attractive. One is more masculine acting and one is more feminine acting. I've been very transparent as a Christian, and that has caused problems. I said, I'm a Christian, and there's things that God says are wrong. And you'll have to excuse me. It's allergy season here in the great dirty South, as they call it. I'm honest enough to admit that I've seen two. I remember when I was in karaoke in Hong Kong years ago, and two Filipino friends of mine were very pretty, and they started tongue kissing each other right there in front of me. And I was sitting there going, wow. I believe I've handled that issue with sensitivity and honesty. There are some people that are totally repulsed by that. On an erotic level, I think two pretty women making out and exploring each other is fascinating. On a spiritual and scriptural level, God says it's sin. But he also considers living together. You guys having sex with your girl and living together, not married, he considers that sin. Having an affair is sin. You have women having sex with your dogs. We know that's a sin. But what do you do with transgenderism? You got boys, one day they wake up and said, I just feel like I'm a woman born in a guy's body, and vice versa. What is the truth on it? The Bible talks about effeminate. I haven't done an in-depth study on that, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory. But am I guilty of some of that? It depends on who you talk to. I've been honest and said I have a feminine side, or is it more of a sexy side? I'm not going to be somebody's bitch. Sorry. I asked a friend to tell me, was I alpha or beta? And he said, I think you have both, but I wouldn't consider you beta, because I'll go along with something for a moment until I wake up and say, no. Alpha, you think of a Marine Corps drill sergeant. No, I'm not like that. But beta males get themselves in trouble. We got a nation full of them. Then there's Pacific. I walked into the nightclub and there was a beautiful woman with her boyfriend and they were shooting pool. And I walked in with my group of friends from work and shirt off the shoulder, had my necklace on, my hair was longer on all sides. And he says, "Look, I'm not gay, but I just want to tell you, you are like the most beautiful man I've ever seen." And I said, "Thank you." And the couple wanted me to hang out, play pool with them. And the guy was constantly acting like he was a dog in heat. And I said, "Are you all right over here?" And I looked at his girlfriend. I said, is he into you or is he into me? She goes, "I'm beginning to wonder." And she laughed. And the guy was acting weird. I said, "Do you want to touch my shoulder? Do you want to touch my shoulder?" "Yes." And he went like this. I said, "Do you feel better now?" I said, "Will you calm down? I'm here to play pool. That's your woman. You need to go and make love with her or something. But because that's not happening with you and me." And people like me, black or white. Oh, some have laughed. Why does he do that? Why does he dress like that? Others said, "I like his style. He's different." They haven't seen me chasing the men around. They haven't, and they won't. And I think of the old Greek way or Roman way. I would love to get shirts made like this. I mean, look, everybody's a brand in this country. Abercrombie and Fitch, Hilfiger, FUBU. Why can't somebody start their own trademark and run with it? "Well, that'd never be permitted in the workplace." No, but if I'm going into Home Depot on the weekend to get lumber, why not? Americans have a real hard time with legit expression and change. They'll tolerate and put up with strange stuff. And nothing is more clearly evident when I get weird looks. But now we have a subculture of transgender. I watched what looked like a lesbian, plumpish woman looking like a Methodist church, calling herself a preacher with robes and everything, equating some transgender to being like Jesus. I thought to myself, that's not right. There is the Bible, there is God, and then there's us. Let's be honest. Why can't people just be honest that they like what they like and stop trying to rationalize it in the eyes of God's word? Why is that? And there are people that would be very judgmental about, you see, I like to take pictures that I post on Facebook. I have my own expression. I do not care if men and or women are attracted to me. It doesn't bother me. You cannot stop somebody from having an attraction. If you expect me to wear a collared shirt and dress up like what people think a Christian ought to dress like, it's not going to happen. But I have boundaries. We all have boundaries. Wouldn't you like to see my boundaries too? The fact is, when you were born in a guy's body or a girl's body, I want to know what happened to your mind that you want to be the opposite sex. When I see most transgender come to the club, they're not pretty. They don't rock feminine well. I could do it. I could wear a spaghetti strap top, tight jeans, and I could walk in there. The only problem is Adam's apple's a dead giveaway. My voice is a dead giveaway. I'm cleaner under here than most women are, which I find amusing in today's culture that women's hygiene has taken a big dive, especially in the African-American culture. Many of them don't shave at all and got white, chalky chunks of deodorant all stuck in that pit hair. Really kind of a cock blocker there. But I'm not attracted to hairy underarms on anybody. Some guy walking in and raising his arm and all this hair. To me, it's gross. I sat with a woman who wants to be identified as a man. She tried to tell me she didn't try. She told me there was 87,000 genders. I did not know that the number 2 could explode into 87,000. And I am not in any way disrespecting her. I was polite in the conversation. It angered her that somebody would use a pronoun and call her a her. And after I listened very calmly, I said, why does that set you guys off so much? Why are these fighting words? You got women today that believe they're a cat. They wear the cat ears, they meow. No lie. America's entering a whole new realm of paganism, of demonic manifestations. And we, as a 21st century, have always believed that, come on, this is the 21st century. We don't believe in fables like the Bible. Well, okay. So believe in fables that you can sew up your penis and turn it into a vagina. And what's sad is there's a workplace where there's a guy that became a woman and has had people fired and got a sex chain and stood in the woman's bathroom in the workplace. And my black lady friends, when we went to dinner on a holiday break, she said, I'm very uncomfortable when I went to the bathroom and he's standing in there with dildos and feminine products on the counter. And he's leaning against the wall like this, like, go ahead, say something, waiting. That's a troublemaker. That's a troublemaker. I do what I do because I realized long ago it doesn't matter what I do. I walked down the 16th Street Mall, Denver, Colorado, years ago when I did not dress like this. I was walking to a church and the Cheesecake Factory was getting ready to start their day. And a young guy, white guy, come out in the business and was cleaning up the chairs and tables in the little outdoor eatery part of the business. And I had my Bible in my arm. I didn't say nothing to him. I walked, I glanced, and he says, without missing a beat, oh, off to church to learn more bullshit, huh? And it took me, I wasn't expecting that. He's got the Cheese Factory uniform on. I didn't think quick enough. Hey, where's your manager? No, instead I said, oh, no, actually, the truth. Whatever. And I should have turned around and said, where's your manager? You know how many people come after church and eat in these places? That you, in work, on the clock, can just make some random rude comment to somebody who's walking to church with a Bible. Do you howl insults at a Jewish guy with a yarmulke on his head? Notice something in this country. Notice for some time this is what's been going on. People are comfortable attacking people who believe the truth. People are comfortable just attacking people that aren't even doing anything to them. And now we have this collective boohoo and whining from the transgender community with a lesbian black woman spokeswoman under Biden who her first day in office said, I'm black and I'm lesbian. Our country has created global instability. Russia and China are becoming friends. Israel and the Palestinians are at it again. Iran and the Saudis are now making strides towards getting along with each other. And guess what? Biden is shipwrecking America's finances, our economy, creating all kinds of problems. And Jean-Pierre, right up there with Raggedy Ann, the redhead woman that was a spoke. I mean, he can't pick a good White House press secretary. And their focus and the military's focus on what is going on in somebody's pants is ridiculous. The Chinese and the Russian armies are not worried about sexual politics. They're teaching how to fight. When we live in a country like this with spoiled brats, with boys being raised by domineering women in the black sector, in the white sector, I'm watching more and more videos. Wrangler Star is a good one, and he said how he lost his job as a firefighter because of a woman. Women are not coming into the workplace to do a job and go home. They're coming into the workplace to be on a power trip and get revenge to all the males out there. Not all women are doing this, but a lot. And I had a discussion with my friend in text message. I kept calling him. He says, "You all right?" I said, "I'm just having a down day. Wanted to talk to you." And he said, "Face it, you and I are wired different." And he says, "You know what?" He said, "It's not normal anymore, Pacific. You can't just get a date." He dated an Afghani woman who's here in the States as a refugee, and she came onto him. They didn't have sex, but she was extremely affectionate and all over him, fixed him lunch and tea and the whole 9 yards. And I said, "Wow, I never looked at Afghani." After 2 weeks of this, Ramadan came and she suddenly, bolt crazy, turned around and says, "I can't see you again." They worked together. The girl did an about face. Here you think some nice foreigner would be a good, and the Filipino population. Social media is ruining people, folks. Girls and their TikTok obsession. AOC, our government, Democrats and Republicans are concerned about China spying on us all of a sudden through TikTok. And AOC gets on a rant on TikTok. "You can't just ban this." No, but maybe we should ban you. There's no substance in AOC's brain. Nancy Pelosi, Bob Lee, founder of Cash App, stabbed to death. Car passed by when he's bleeding and wanting help. Welcome to San Francisco, where they're the proud banner of the LGBT community, and a guy's getting stabbed walking in the good area, and nobody cares. And did Nancy Pelosi issue any kind of condolences in her own district? But an Asian woman that was killed in DC after attending a concert, most likely by an African-American man, because you notice the media will never mention ethnicity if it happens to be black or Hispanic, but mostly black. Now transgender shoved in our face. They're demanding rights. That's all they seem to want to talk about right now. On the heels of Nashville Christian school shooting, bimbo secretary for Biden says they're fighting back. You want my opinion of transgender? I'm going to give it to you. I understand people getting into same-sex desires. I've been very sensitive about that. But people that want to change their sex from this to that and demand you call them sir when they're a ma'am, mental issues, and they'll get offended at that. They'll get angry at that. But listen to what they're saying about us, conservatives. Listen to what they're saying about Christians who don't believe that that's okay. The Democratic Party touted itself forever as being open-minded and tolerant. That is a lie. Even other Democrats have made fun of the way I dress. I should just say, oh, but you're okay with transgenderism, but I'm not doing that at all. If you honestly are just you and you don't identify with this weird group over here, and you be like me, transgender have spoken to me. Gay and lesbian have spoken to me. People wanted their picture taken with me. A black, beautiful woman says, man, I love your style. You see the picture I posted on my YouTube with all my blings, and I believe in modeling. I believe in being unique. I don't care if a man says, wow, that's hot. I don't care. I don't care if a woman's attracted to it. I've been through my own spin cycle of being, you got to be this way and dress this way and do this and do that. And I said, no, you don't. But I was born as a man and I will go out as a man. I have no problem with a guy saying I have a feminine side. I can accept that. I mean, let's be honest. We all went to school. You all had them in your schools. The woman that was not attractive, she wore a baseball hat. She wasn't pretty. What has she got to go to? The guys aren't interested in her. And another woman comes up and befriends her and makes her feel good, and boom, the path has been paved for her to be into a lesbian situation. And that's happening with a growing number of young men, laughed at and teased by the girls. Those things I understand. But destroying your body? You are male and you're going to try to pretend you're a female. And no offense, but transgender to me, they're not good looking men and they're not sexy ladies. And when I have talked with them, there's a young man that came in and played pool. He had a bra on, hair all over his chest. And the guy's trying to be feminine. I'm like, okay, this is just awkward. And people came up and said, you know, I'm open-minded, but he's strange. And most transgenders I've met are not what I call balanced people. This is a whole new category, man. I remember when I was a kid. Now, I was not attracted to my sister, my older sister. She had some silk gown. And, excuse me, I had a lot of time on my hands as a kid. Didn't grow up in a very balanced home. I remember putting the silk gown on and it felt so racy on me, and started feeling myself. I remember when I was with my Asian girlfriend in Denver years ago, she had on a spaghetti strap silk red top. She went into the bathroom and I took off my shirt and put it on and it was tight. She comes out of the bathroom, starts laughing. And she goes, oh my gosh, that looks better on you than me. She goes, do you want it? I said, oh gosh. I said, I'd take care of a couple. If I walked into the house wearing this, they would give me so much hell. I said, it would be fun to go somewhere and wear this. Would I consider myself a woman? Not at all. But folks, can I be honest with you? In a lot of workplaces I've worked with these, with women and what they become in our culture today, names of workplaces will be withheld. But a lot of women have been rude to me for no reason, no account. I didn't give them a reason to be. A lot of them were obese. A lot of them were ugly. A lot of them didn't shave their underarms. A lot of them had acne. A lot of them had this, and they're looking down on me. And I one day issued a statement on Facebook. I said, I'm better looking as a man naked than any of these women are that I work with. And another Hispanic woman actually laughed. And I've had men come up and tell me, I'm not gay, but yeah, you're good looking. And you look at a lot of these women and they're gross. I don't stink. I shave, and I shave because I don't like hair. I don't like the look. And to me, it feels sexy to not have it there. And people misunderstand that. Pacific, he's weird. I'll give you that. I very much am. But is not our age strange as hell? Now you got transgender justifying a school shooting. They came out and said, they blamed it on Trump, blamed it on conservatives. So we're not allowed to have opinion that's contrary to you. You're going to tell us that you're the standard and we have to buck up under it. And in Canada, they're trying to make it against the law to say anything that offends transgenders. Will that same government make it against the law to down Christians and Jews and conservatives? Of course not. We know the devil is running loose in our culture. He is the prince of the power of the air. Could it be said that I might be guilty of being effeminate? Perhaps. I got to stand before God one day, and I promise you, I'm not going to get A+ on everything. But I have a belief that's different from most Christians, and it is this: God looks at the heart. I'm not going to fake it until I make it. I'm going to be who I am. Is there dysfunction in my own self? Of course. Is there insecurity in me? Of course. Are we all screaming to be noticed? If we're honest, of course. I don't hate transgender, but I'm watching this from afar, but I'm meeting them up close. I'm being as objective as I can. There's a lot of mental issues in this mess. And people tried to say that homosexuality was a sickness. They liked using words like queer and faggot. I've learned over the years there are reasons and environmental upbringings that propel people into directions. Again, we had guys in high school that were not attractive. No girl was going to date him. What have they got to go to? And society, even Christian society, can be mean and cold-hearted. They'll throw scripture at the problem. What do you do with a butch acting girl that likes baseball and likes to wear ugly, sloppy clothing and a baseball hat on sideways, and no guy is going to date her? Did you forget she has a sex drive? Where is she supposed to go? Well, you know, Mike, the Bible, I know what the Bible says. But let's not forget the human factor. Transgender thing is not that sort of an issue. It's you not accepting the body you were born in. And I've commented for years about white women following the cookie cutter manufactured prescriptive of, oh, let's all dye our hair blonde with the ugly brown roots showing through. People that cannot accept what they were born with, meaning their hair color and this and that, they got mental issues. So you believe dyeing of the hair is wrong? I don't believe it's sin. But why does everybody dye it to blonde? And all those women that I meet that dye their hair blonde don't have any quality worth pursuing. And even Christians, they'll judge me for wearing my shirt like this. But then they'll dye their hair blonde and have all the pancake makeup and all the it's like you're trying to tell us that Christianity is good, but you're not accepting the real you. You got to be like everybody else. But let me just cap this video by saying we are entering a realm of paganism, folks. Witchcraft, demonism, and the devil's writing all over this, confusing the sexes and them yelling and getting angry and showing whose allegiance is not to God and not to truth, but they're in rebellion to the Creator. The Bible says there's nothing new under the sun, but I don't think in Roman times they were trying to change their sexes. And believe me, there were orgies and there were gay baths and everything back then. It was said, and this is creepy stuff. I haven't been able to verify it. Somebody passed this along that in the Colosseum, when they were putting Christians before lions and tearing them apart, and women would get an orgasm watching this kind of violence. All I'm going to say about that is I've said it before, women are more evil than you realize. And our country's coming off the rails, and these Democrats are focused on protecting trans rights. This is not the kind of leadership you want in a country. I'm going to tell you that a country, for the health of a country to survive, you have to have a family unit. And I'm not talking about two mommies and two daddies. And if they get offended by that, too bad, because they're offensive to me. They're offensive when they want to tell Christians to shut up and tell us that we're intolerant and we're bigots and we're homophobe. That's offensive. So if you're going to pass laws, we can't talk about you, then don't talk about us and don't talk about our faith. Because our convictions go back to eternity. Yours, they don't have eternal roots. You're the new kid on the block and you want everybody to accept you. They don't accept me. Where's my rights? Sometimes you have to learn to do. You want to be a certain way? Don't expect everybody to get on your love boat with the thing. Find your group. Man, I never fit in with men. I don't play football, and all the men growing up in my ears, it's football, football, football. What's wrong with you? Look at my size. Maybe I could be a water boy for the NFL team. Ooh, no. Don't let this world squeeze you into its mold. And you need to think about that. That has many ramifications. That includes Christians. Don't allow them to squeeze you into their cultural mode. We need to believe the same Bible. That's non-negotiable. But some expression, how you dress. Now, if I'm running around with my balls and my stuff hanging out, that's not right. Not going to do that. Welcome to the new world of devils and demons. Because that's what's going on. And I'm in no way being insensitive to a group of people. I'm just stating what I believe. I have a right to my opinion. I had a guy try to tell me, well, I think you're transgender inside. I said, no, I'm not. I like being sexy. And why is that? Because of ears are being put down. As a Christian, should I be doing that? Probably not. But I like to be who I am. Folks, I'm honest about things. No one should walk up and harass trans. No one should walk up and harass anybody. But let's talk about the party that's talking about wanting to make rights for them. The party's a hypocrite mess. What about the rights of children in the womb? They don't have any because a woman in her selfishness can say, it's my choice. It's your choice to murder a child that didn't make that choice. How noble. You cannot rationalize with the Democrats in this country. Of course, they're going to defend demonic behavior. And that's what this is. I am not a perfect example of a holy and righteous Christian. It doesn't mean I don't know the Bible. It doesn't mean that I don't have a fire for God. It just means I'm honest. Whereas a lot of Christians like to play games. They'll fight in the car, and I pull up in my truck. You can see they're having a problem. Take it out. Oh, good morning, Pacific. How are you? I'm good. How are you? I'm doing well. Lie. My God doesn't teach me that. My God teaches me to be real, even if it's ugly to others. Not being ugly to others, but even if people look at me and go, he calls himself a Christian, but he's got his shirt off his shoulder. Did you see the Romans? Did you see the way they dressed? I never heard Jesus talk about that. I'm sorry, there's something very manly about being able to have the shirt like this. It was sexy and macho. That's gone today. So now we make little boys almost gayish, that you got to wear button-up plaid shirts and gayish attire. I don't want to look gayish. I want to be a man and in touch with my sexuality. Is that transgenderism? No. Is that homosexuality? No. Is it we live in a broken, jacked up world? Yeah. But people like to put things in a nice, neat little box, and Pacific won't do it. You can't put me in one. You can't put me in one. It's not going to work because I don't fit into any of the above. Thank you for listening, but we're headed for the opening of the door of blatant evil and wickedness. This young generation that won't even show up to work on time and gets offended at everything and can't work an honest, hard day, come to work for 2 days and call in because they get butthurt about something. Our country's in trouble. And now they want to scream and yell that they want to be a girl when they're a boy and all that. There's some mental issues going on, folks. And if they're offended by that, I don't care. I'm not being hateful and insensitive, but when you have a group of people that is totally in the wrong, that's what they do. Just like the African-American community. If I say anything that disagrees with them, they can use the hot branding iron of racist. Same with them. Homophobe, bigot. They don't even know what the words mean. I'm not afraid of gay men. I've had back massages by gay men because they did an incredibly wonderful job. You go to get a woman, she's going to charge you $60 to $100 and not do as good of a job as a man. So the writing's on the wall. If a man wants to rub me down and inside he's getting his jollies looking at my body, I don't care. But Mike, that's not very Christ-like. It isn't. But it's kind of a unilateral trade agreement. And the sad thing is that women today are so holy and righteous that they're rejecting all of us men. Nobody's commenting on that in the church, are they? Not even the pastors. Because women are so flawless and perfect, they're still looking for the perfect man. So my video channel is not about perfection. My video channel is about shattering all these little thin glass Christmas ornaments dangling from the tree that look pretty, but they're not. Mine's about being real. And transgender will like me because they see the way I dress and go, you're unique. And they do talk to me. And I have a platform to say, well, no, I don't believe that. And it's been pretty good. Who's going to reach them? I don't consider myself having a ministry to transgender. That's not what I'm saying. And I had to tell a young man recently, I said, okay, I'm glad you come around to the right view on things, but don't do what they're doing. Don't be guilty of hating the way they are, because then you're doing what they're doing. Listen to people. You don't have to agree with them. Just listen to them. Okay, I see. Okay. And gently challenge them. That girl still walks through, gives me a hug, or she'll say, hey, our job is not to make enemies. We don't have to agree with somebody, but we don't need to be dogmatic like some Christians. Oh, you believe differently. Get away from me. I've had that happen all my life. I divorced my wife because he said I didn't have biblical reasons, a friend of 13 years. I didn't have biblical reasons because she didn't have an affair. And he quoted Jesus. I said, okay, but the Bible says, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with all men. As far as it depended on me, I couldn't live at peace with her because there was friction and problem. And I finally decided to remove myself from it. So if you want to break a friendship with me, or as you say, break fellowship, do what you got to do. But don't act like you're more righteous than I, because I'm going to have a problem with that. And he's very self-righteous. He worships his materialism. And you have a lot of Christians like that. They're very materialistic. They get into debt. They're obsessed with their projects. They're obsessed with the need of approval of how good of a job they did. And they'll blast somebody for leaving their wife, even though the same man complained and fussed for years about how he couldn't stand his wife. She was ugly. I said, instead of complaining to all of us, why don't you divorce her? Because God won't let me do that. Then stop the bitching. So a lot of Christians that look like, sound like, act like, God's going to judge them too. You walk before your God, not a bunch of people's opinions. And if somebody wants to walk out of your life and say they need to break fellowship with you, let them. If people want to write off Pacific and say I'm a sensual heretic, let them. They take Bible verses, that's sensual, earthly, and of the devil. I'm very sensual, and that is condemned in the Christian church. I think people are taking verses out of context, honestly. I think a lot of Christian women don't make good lovers because they're not sensual. So, you know what? There is a season, turn. There's a time to be sensual and a time to be serious, a time to be righteous and a time to have holy indignation. I like a meme I saw the other day when they came out with what would Jesus do? And that was another form of mind-numbing, mind-rot, manipulative control crap. Jesus, what would he do? Probably flip over tables and drive out people with a whip. Oh, we didn't think about that one. When I stand before God, I'm not going to get an A+, and I already know that. But I do the best that I'm able to do, and that's all I can give. I'm not going to jump through hoops that I can't jump through. So you have to make a decision. If you as a Christian are offended by my behavior and that's upsetting your faith, don't listen to me. Simple as that. I tell people, don't violate your conscience. But I'm going to be who I am. I'm not here to stick my middle finger in the eye of the transgender community, but they are doing it to us and everybody that doesn't agree with them. To the transgender community, why don't you learn to be more tolerant of the fact that there's 8 billion people in the world and they don't all agree with you? Stop mandating and forcing the rest of us to get on your bus, because I could do that. Most of the country in America doesn't get on Pacific's bus. And I'm not going to spend a lifetime railing about that. I'm going to find people that we connect with, and I'm going to keep it moving. You need to do the same. If you really feel you want to be a girl in a boy's body and do what you do, then hang out with people of that like mind. But don't condemn the rest of us that have Christian faith involved or belief systems that are a contradiction to your mind, what you're doing is no different than a tyrant and a dictator. You will get in lockstep with me or else. Where's my freedom to disagree? Transgender community, be careful what you're doing. You're opening up a Pandora's box, and it's not going to go well for you if you do that. You're encouraging the shooting up of children and staff in a Christian school. I don't care what you say. That's not okay. It's not okay for me to come into a transgender community and shoot them all. So be careful what you're endorsing. You're going to come up against people that are tired of you, and you get up into their face, they're going to shoot you too. So you want to do what you want to do. Don't expect everybody to get on your bus. That's intolerant. That's unreasonable. I've lived my whole life and people don't get behind me. My family believes the crap that they believe about me to this day. I can't change that, and I don't waste my energy and time trying to change that. I rocked on. I find something to do, and I try to make a difference in my world in my own way. But yes, I believe a lot of transgender have mental issues and they need some sort of counseling. And I believe a lot of that is attributed to a female feminist dominant society. And women say they don't have as many rights as men. They're correct. They have more. They're getting paid more in many cases. They got favoritism we don't have. If you got a pair of tits and cleavage, you can be at the front office and you can be a bitch to everybody and still have a job. If I'm rude in customer service, I get fired. So yeah, you got more rights than we do, ladies. And now we've got a public education system dominant by feminist women. No wonder little boys are questioning what's down between their legs. Just saying.